Ann Roberts, and I'd like to share with you some experiences I've had working with people who have been unable to communicate with the world around them. This is a personal film, but implicit in what you'll see is the idea that many of the approaches I've used can be used by others. My methods have been derived from training at the Philadelphia Child Study Center, my work as a group therapist, professional experience in the theater, and an innate desire to communicate with people. At a public health hospital in Gallup, New Mexico, I found emotionally disturbed Navajo Indian patients withdrawn and depressed. Their bodies, like their spirits, were held in tight. Traditional forms of therapy had failed to produce any noticeable results. I approached them with a series of non-traditional techniques, utilizing games, movement, and the ancient rhythms of their own music. In a drug therapy program at the Philadelphia General Hospital, I used psychodrama. Role-playing helped bring underlying feelings to the surface. At the West Philadelphia Mental Health Consortium, I worked with delinquent children using puppets and original stories to help them express pent-up feelings. For each individual, I tried to discover that something to which he would respond. Loosening up the body and the imagination, I found, leads to a freer expression of feeling. The results have often been startling. In Philadelphia, doctors at St. Christopher's Children's Hospital learned of my work and were interested in my approaches to patients with communication difficulties. St. Christopher's has a therapy program for speech-impaired children. I was invited to observe it. Three youngsters had failed to respond to the established clinic procedures. I was asked to develop a program that might reach them. I started by checking the hospital records. They described the girl, Ginny, as retarded with possible brain damage. Next, I contacted her family. In talking with Ginny's grandmother, I learned some horrifying details of the child's early years.
Virginia would be locked in her room all day. That's why she didn't talk. She was kept to herself. Her mother got angry at her for something she did, and she threw Ginny into this 8-foot pool in the neighbor's yard. If it hadn't been for a neighbor's child diving in and getting her out, Ginny would have been drowned. One day I discovered little Virginia had a cigarette burnt on her back and a cigar burn on her little chest, and that's when her father took custody of the child.
I spoke next with the mother of Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell at this time is a baby at 4 years old. He does not have friends. He does not communicate with other children. Verbally, no one understands him, including my husband and I. At St. Christopher's, he's been with the program in the speech therapy department about 5 or 6 months, has shown no progress at all, and has reverted due to the fact that he has rebelled and does not want to come anymore. This is a very, very trying time in our lives.
Eddie's parents were worried about their child.
Eddie doesn't seem to have any interest in anything. In one way of speaking, he's in a world of his own. It's frustrating.
I learned from Eddie's parents that he didn't speak at all. He'd been shifted from one department of the hospital to another, ending up in the speech clinic. But after a year with that program, Eddie's parents were still concerned and very frustrated.
Nothing has happened. Nothing. A whole year was wasted in that speech program.
I'm tired of nothing being done. I'm just disgusted with the whole thing.
Well, maybe if a new approach, if he
couldn't do anything in the other speech class, I don't see how you can help. Not unless you got a magic hand.
With the skepticism of Eddie's father firmly in my mind, I began what would be a 6-month program. At times very lonely and very trying, without the benefit of professional guidance and with only my own experience and intuition to guide me. When I first observed these children, I felt that they were not ready to talk. It seemed to me that the desire to talk was lacking. And so my first objective was to build the child's ego and strengthen his belief in his own worth. I felt that if I could accomplish this, it would stimulate the desire to communicate verbally. My plan was to build a tight personal relationship with each child, starting at the most elementary level. The room that I set up at the hospital, I tried to make a place that the child would want to be in, a place where we would have lots of fun. Everything in it had a special reason for being there. I met with each child for an hour, twice a week. As Ginny and I started to work together, I noticed that she was lethargic and utterly passive. She was like a robot, completely lacking in spontaneity.
You're going to move to a new house? Huh? Are you?
She seemed to hide behind parrot-like behavior, protective walls, I felt, from the miseries of her childhood. Yet I sensed that she craved contact. So I wanted to develop as much of this as possible in order to break down that parrot-like behavior and give her the affection that I felt she longed for.
Ginny, would Ginny get on my lap and rock with me? Ginny climb on her lap, and we'll rock and hug. And I'll tell you how sweet you are.
As our relationship developed, Ginny and I began communicating non-verbally by playing games and doing things together. As our time together progressed, I found that as she opened up more directly in her physical relationship toward me, so too she began to open up with language.
Uh-huh.
Clown.
Yeah. But what about the clown?
She bit us in a clown, and instead of hugging, she's dead.
The
Clown bit.
Is she dead?
Clown dead as a... She's baby.
Is she...
Thank you.
It was very obvious from the beginning that Mitch acted and talked like a baby and played the role to the hilt. When we first started working together, there was absolutely nothing that he would do for himself. And so my aim in everything I did was to help this youngster discover a feeling of manliness, of his own power and strength. I concentrated on becoming buddies with Mitch. We did things as partners, with the aim of his taking the leadership. And as Mitch's ego developed, I found him more willing to try and talk.
What do you want to do today?
Go store.
Store.
Store. Bubble gum.
Yeah, all right. But don't say bubble gum. Say let's
Let's
go
go
to
to
the
the
store.
store.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right, now which do you want to blow?
Come on, down.
All right, then say.
Right, down.
That one. This.
More.
Not more, come on.
Right, more bubbles.
In
And
the pipe.
fake
Pipe. Pipe.
pie.
Yeah, pipe.
Fake
Perfect. I like Mr. Mitch words. That means when you say it real good. That's a Mr. Mitch word. Yeah, where are we going to put it? What?
We go right.
Go up high?
Yeah.
Say it right. Come on, Mr. Mitch.
Up high.
Right.
Up high.
Where?
Up high.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. Up high. Up high where?
Yeah.
Up high here?
No.
No.
Up there.
All right.
There.
Well, say on the window. Up high on the window.
Go up high.
On the window. On
On
the
the
window.
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 That's a Mr. Mitch word. That's a Mr. Mitch word. When you say it that perfectly. Woo! Look at them. Woo!
Eddie was something else again, on the go, every minute, hyperactive, a symptom of autism, I'd been told. And he was completely oblivious to anyone and anything. It was really a puzzle how to reach Eddie on any level. It wasn't going to be possible to bring Eddie into my world, and so I decided to try and join his. Now, his was a very bizarre world indeed, and it required a real lack of inhibition on my part to indulge in this kind of thing. My aim in doing this, though, was to see if I couldn't make some kind of contact with him, to establish some kind of communication. If I could, it would at least be a beginning. Suddenly, one day, he ran over and put his arms around me. From the moment I picked Eddie up, I could feel his very strong response. And I knew that we were in contact and communicating in some very fundamental way. He held me. He let me know that he knew that I was there, that he wanted me. And I let him know that I knew he was there and I wanted him. There were times when I would lose him and he'd go off into his own little world. But I felt that much of the time we were relating and that he was listening to what I was saying. I tried to help him differentiate between himself and me.
Hi, Eddie. Can you say hi? Say hello. Say Sue. Say Sue. Nose. Eyes. Sue loves Eddie.
As time went by, there were even signs that Eddie was beginning to talk.
You want to go play with the dog?